All right, Georgia's annual G-Day scrimmage is just a couple of days away. It's going to be a big weekend in Athens, Georgia, getting our first look at the 2024 Georgia Bulldogs. And of course, there will be plenty of big-time targets in town to take in G-Day. Now, I'm going to go over the list that I have right now. I'm not going to give every name because I want y'all to go to the website over on Dawg Post to read the in-depth visitor list, that I have over on the website. But I did want to share a few names. But before I do that, I have to preface something, all right? Just want to get it out there. This is not as big or as star-studded of a visitor list for G-Day compared to years past. I mean, in other years, even last year and the year before, 3 years ago, it was a crazy, crazy five-star filled G-Day list. And this is a good one, but it's not as big as it has been recently. A lot of guys are either at prom. A lot of guys are visiting Tennessee, Miami, Ohio State. There's a lot of spring games, but a lot of these kids, you have to remember, the last several weeks, they've been going on unofficial visits. A lot of these big-time prospects, especially the out-of-state kids, were just in Athens either last weekend, the weekend before that. So these prospects have been taking a lot of visits. Some of them just want to chill. They don't want to do anything. And I'm going to talk about those Georgia targets too, who told me, hey, I'm either visiting another place or I just want to lay low. I'm tired. I want a weekend to myself with my family. And that happens a lot. But as far as the confirmed visitors, let's break it down. The first guy to keep an eye on, five-star defensive lineman Justice Terry, one of the best prospects in the country, early Georgia commitment in that 25 class. He's ranked as the number 8 overall prospect in the country. Former Georgia commit, flipped to Southern Cal. He's going to be back in Athens this weekend. When he did flip to Southern Cal after a visit out there, I know California is beautiful. They won him over. He's going to be back in the Classic City. I told our readers on Dawg Post, it happens, right? These rural Georgia kids go out to Hollywood, they go out to Southern California, and they love it. It's different. They buy into the program that they're trying to build out there. It's still a big work in progress, trying to build USC back to a legitimate, relevant program. But they jump on board, right? And I told everyone, don't worry about it. This kid, I imagine, is going to think hard about flipping back to Georgia. This is a big weekend, getting him back in town, showing him what Athens has to offer, getting him face-to-face with the coaches. Big visit for five-star Justice Terry. In-state kid, position of need. He could be a game changer type. They need to get back. They need to get him back on the commit list. First step in doing that is a big visit this weekend. A guy who's on commit watch. I know y'all love commit watch. Darren Ickenogben out of New Jersey, 4-star edge defender. All potential, all promise, but he's quickly turning into one of the best edge rushers in the country. Just started playing football as a freshman, was a multi-sport star, played a little basketball, played track and field. His coaches said, nah, dude, you are 6'5", 240. You're just started playing football. We're going to turn you into a beast, a monster who's going to play at the next level. Georgia's all about him. They offered, I believe, early November, but they took a firm lead in his recruitment in February. He was in town for an unofficial visit, first visit to Athens in February, I believe, according to my notes. My notes are rarely wrong. Y'all know that. But I was told, hey, this kid loves Georgia. He loved that visit. They are going to be in the mix the entire way. Well, as it turns out, Georgia's still probably number 1 on his list. He told me he was committing soon. Soon this weekend. Soon could be this weekend. Soon could be next week. Soon could be whenever he and Kirby Smart and Trey Scott decide, hey, go public on this day, right? So I don't know if anything is publicly going to happen this weekend, but this is a weekend where sometimes you do get some silent commitments that, either go public the next week, a month later, maybe it's in the summer. But this is always big, and I think this is going to be a big weekend for Darren Ickenogben. He is ranked as it's not in my notes right here, but it is on the story that I have over on Dawg Post. Actually, let me just try to find it real quick. Going through my notes because I want to get it right for y'all. Not find it immediately, but it's on the website. I know it is. I plugged it in. Another wide receiver to know. Actually, the first wide receiver that I've talked about in this video, but a big one. Travis Smith Jr. out of Westlake. I got his ranking here. He's the number 90 overall prospect in the country, number 11 wide receiver. I think he's the number 12 prospect in Georgia. This kid's a big deal. If you've been watching my videos, you know that. I make the rankings for Prep Red Zone, and a long time ago, I said Travis Smith Jr. was the number 1 wide receiver in Georgia before he had a monster junior year, I believe. What happens? All the other outlets are now putting him as number 1 wide receiver. It's cute, it's funny, but this kid's a baller. 6'4", 195, 53 catches, 892 yards, 11 touchdowns. The ball skills, the length, the athleticism, the catch radius. This guy can leap and catch the football over just about any defensive back he's going to go up against next year. He's a fluid route runner. He can make it tough catch in traffic. Big, strong hands, dangerous after the catch. He can elude defenders. Big play guy. He is towards the top of Georgia's board. I think Georgia's probably the team to beat right now. I know other schools like Tennessee have really come on. I think that might be Georgia's biggest competition right now. He was just in Knoxville, but he's going to be in Athens again this weekend. If I had to make a decision today, it would be Georgia for the number 1 wide receiver in Georgia. Moving on, other commitments that I believe will be in town. Ethan Barber, 4-star tight end out of Alpharetta. Go watch the kid play. Kid's a baller. I don't even look where he's ranked right now because everyone has him ranked lower than what he should be. That guy is a big-time player at Alpharetta. He's a high 4-star in my opinion. I think he's probably a top 10 player in Georgia, one of the best tight ends across the country. Big deal. He told me he was going to be in town. Others have told me that 5-star Ellis Williams will be in town. He's the 5-star tight end from Camden County. I want to hear it from him first before I plug him in a story, but multiple people have told me that he and Jared Curtis, the 5-star quarterback commitment from the 26 class, will also be in town. I believe this will be his first visit to Athens since being a commitment, but I've been told that he's coming into town. I would like to hear it from him. Same with Mason Short. Others who I trust have told me he plans to be in town this weekend. I would like to hear it from him. Maybe I'll get in touch with him and those other guys later, but those are a few guys that others have told me will be in town. Now, other guys, other Georgia targets. Julian Lewis, 5-star quarterback, just told me he's not visiting anywhere that he knows of. He told me that on Wednesday. He said, I don't have any plans. Might just take it easy this weekend. So as I'm making this video, I do not expect Julian Lewis anywhere. Those plans can change, obviously. David Sanders, 5-star offensive lineman, a guy that the Georgia staff loves for a reason. He plays out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Easy 5-star, could push for the number 1 player in the country. He's going to be back at Tennessee. Now, this one feels like it's going either Tennessee or Ohio State's way. Those have been the 2 most recent visits, and I think both of them are right there with Georgia and Clemson. The staff in Knoxville thinks that they're the leader for the number 1 offensive lineman, offensive tackle too, in the country. They think it's Ohio State after them, then Georgia and Clemson. It's going to be a long way to go, but this is his second visit to Knoxville in, I think, 2 weeks. So this is a big one. They do seem to have the momentum. So David Sanders, big Georgia target, is going to be back in Knoxville this weekend. C.J. Wiley, 4-star wide receiver, 6'4", like 190, had a phenomenal year with the Milton Eagles, helping lead them to a 7A title. He told me he might visit Southern Cal this weekend. He told me originally USC. And so South Carolina, Southern Cal. He quickly told me, no, Southern Cal. So he might visit out there. He doesn't. He might stay home too. In the 4-star target, Juan Gaston. Not a big media guy at all. Not a guy who likes to talk much at all. But he did get back to me, said, I'm not going anywhere. So he's another Westlake kid, just massive. One of the best athletes I've seen at 330. He's got to refine his body a little bit and work on that, lose some bad weight here and there, but he's massive and he can move. And I think Georgia's in a really good position for him right now as another kid out of Westlake. His dad played basketball for Georgia Tech, just a big athlete. And those don't grow on trees, so he's a guy to keep an eye on. So just a few lists. There's other guys that I want to talk about that's on this story that I'm about to post and publish over on Dawg Post, so make sure you check that out. But again, not the biggest visitor list, not the craziest, not the one with the most 5 stars, but there's reasons for that. They've had several 5 stars on campus recently. I promise some of their biggest targets maybe, won't be in Athens this weekend, but we're just in Athens or are just hanging low this weekend, watching golf, watching the Masters. If I wasn't covering G-Day, that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be taking any visits. I'd be watching golf. But big weekend for the Dogs, not only on the field, but on the recruiting trail. You can read all of this and more over on Dawg Post. You can do that by signing up to our free newsletter. That link is down below. It's free to sign up. It's free to read a lot of stories. Not this one, but a lot of stories. But make sure you sign up to a membership. It'll be the smartest thing you ever did. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you on the website.